juggling lots of virtual balls, so to speak. Wanted to just say thank you to Gibson Consulting and of course our liaison with TEA. We've been able to work out a plan due to the restrictions imposed on all of us by COVID-19 to administer our survey paperless this year. And so Gibson has jumped in and adjusted their processes, and our hope today is that we'll be able to share with you how the new process is going to work with no paper-based surveys being mailed out. So I'll go ahead and let Jill and her team get started.
Great, thank you, Gracie. So thank you for joining us for a brief webinar on updates to the survey administration process for the 2020 Texas statewide survey of parents of students receiving special education services. As Gracie noted, my name is Jill Carley, and I will be leading today's webinar and question and answer session. I work with Gibson Consulting Group, who has managed the statewide survey process for the last 4 years, both with Region 9 ESC and now with Region 10 ESC. Before we get started, we just want to express our thanks to you all for everything you do. Our focus today will be on the parent survey, but we know that everyone across the state is dealing with any number of unforeseen circumstances and challenges right now. From figuring out logistics of instructional time when students cannot be in your school buildings, to how to get meals and extra support to students and families who need them most. We appreciate all that you and your colleagues are doing right now to support your students, families, and your communities. As we worked with TEA and Region 10 ESC to retool our survey administration process in light of this public health crisis, we did our best to make the process straightforward and provide as many resources as possible. But we know that every district has a different context right now. So if there are resources or materials that it would be helpful to have, or instructions that just don't reflect your experience in your district, please just let us know. And we're happy to help support you in whatever way possible to help provide helpful information to districts and to meet federal reporting requirements. We have just one other housekeeping note before we begin. We're using the Zoom platform for today's webinar. I'm sure many of you have become more familiar with Zoom and other video conferencing platforms in the last few weeks, but just in case, you can change any settings from the Zoom toolbar that pops up when you mouse over the bottom of your Zoom window. It would be great if you could make sure you're muted while we're presenting. When we open it up for questions at the end of the webinar, click on the chat icon. A text window will pop up, and you can use this box to ask any questions you might have. We'll provide our responses verbally, and we'll post full responses to questions from all 4 webinars to the online survey portal later this week. A recording of the webinar will also be available on the survey portal later this week. For today's webinar, we'll review the new survey timeline, discuss updates to the administration process, and talk through ways to invite parents in your district to complete the survey. Then we'll talk about how to reach out to parents to increase responsiveness to the survey. Finally, we'll talk about what your next steps are and finish up with plenty of time for questions. Just as a quick reminder, the Texas Parent Involvement Survey is an annual survey of parents who have a student receiving special education services. The Parent Involvement Survey in Special Education is used to measure Indicator 8 of the State Performance Plan. The survey is required by the Office of Special Education Programs, or OSEP, and measures the extent to which parents, guardians, and educational surrogates agree their school is facilitating parent involvement as a means to improve services and results for children receiving special education services. In our webinar last month, we reviewed the process of selecting districts, campuses, and students for participating in the survey. But if you have any additional questions, please feel free to ask in the Q&A. We'll talk now about the updated timeline for the 2020 Texas Parent Involvement Survey. On April 8th, when we shared out the details of the new survey administration approach, the survey window officially opened. As soon as your district shares out information about the survey, parents, guardians, and educational surrogates will be able to complete it online. So it's open now. We're asking that all districts send out initial survey invitations by April 24th. 1 to 2 weeks later, survey reminders should be shared with parents to remind them to complete the survey by May 22nd. Once parents start completing the survey in large numbers, Gibson will begin providing response rates to region contacts and district survey coordinators. We'll talk more about finding your response rates in a few minutes. Based on your district's response rates, it might be helpful to do some additional follow-up with parents to remind them to complete the survey. When the survey window closes on May 22nd, Gibson will begin compiling all of the responses and analyzing data from participating parents. Then in early fall, TEA and Region 10 ESC will report results to OSEP, ESCs, and districts. The results are reported as part of the state performance plan, and districts will receive individual reports showing their survey data. Now we'll talk a bit about the updated survey administration process. As we shared out via email, the 2020 Texas Parent Involvement Survey will be administered online and over the phone. School districts will no longer receive boxes of survey materials delivered to their physical addresses. While there will be no systematic distribution of hard copy materials, both the survey and all promotional materials we share will be in both English and Spanish. Additionally, parents can call us for support in both English and Spanish, including getting their unique PIN and completing the survey over the phone. Please let us know if parents in your district need the survey in additional languages, and we'll work to make those available. As a part of this new survey approach, we're asking district coordinators to email a survey invitation to each parent of a selected student by April 24th. Be sure to include the name of their selected student and their unique PIN in the email invitation. The list of selected students shared with each district coordinator on April 8th also includes the unique PIN parents will need to access the survey. But please let us know if you'd like us to resend the link to the list of students selected in your district. If you need help with determining how to email parents in your district with their survey information, Microsoft Word's mail merge function may be helpful here. On the Support for Contacting Parents tab on your district survey portal, you can access the draft survey invitation along with a tutorial on how to send the email via mail merge. If you need any help troubleshooting how to share this information to parents, please feel free to reach out to Alejandro Allen with any questions. In many cases, you may not have updated email addresses for parents. For parents for whom you do not have email addresses, please reach out to them using any available avenue for contacting parents of selected students. So this could include calling or texting them if you have parent phone numbers, posting an announcement on your social media page and district website, or actually printing out physical flyers to put in student packets if your district currently has a mechanism for doing so. If you're looking for additional resources or suggestions on how to contact parents, visit the Support for Contacting Parents tab on your survey portal, or reach out to us with any questions or ideas. If you need additional support in reaching out to parents, please let us know. We'll work with you in whatever capacity makes the most sense for your district. If you can share directory information with our survey team, we're happy to help reach out to parents to remind them about the survey. In order to share your directory information with the survey team, start with the list of selected students in your district that we shared last week. Then add parent contact information into the designated columns. Add in whatever information you have, even if there are some fields that are missing. Next, navigate to the Support for Contacting Parents tab. Click the link for our secure FTP site at the bottom of the page. Enter your name and email address when prompted. Select the file that includes your parent contact information and click Send these files. Once you've distributed the surveys in your district, you should plan to remind parents to complete the survey approximately 1 to 2 weeks later. To help ensure the success of the survey in your district, you can follow your district's survey response rates on your survey portal. It may be helpful to bookmark your district survey portal page so you can come back to it more easily later. District response rates are updated daily since all surveys are online. So you'll see everything in real time. To review your district's overall response rate, click on the How do our response rates compare to the rest of Texas tab. This page will show your district's current overall response rate compared with the overall statewide response rate. You can also view the response rates for individual campuses by clicking on the Who has responded at, fill in your district name tab. The table on this page is sortable, so you can sort by campus name, number, or from lowest to highest response rate. You can also download the data into Excel if you'd prefer to use it that way. The online resources also include outreach materials to help increase the number of parents that respond to the survey, including email templates to help communicate about the survey effort within the district and with parents, text message templates, flyers, and images for social media. Throughout the survey window, the survey team will check in with you about your district's response rates, ways to reach out to parents, and ways we can support your efforts. So, what are your next steps? Right now, you should have all the materials you need to distribute the survey to parents via email or to make calls to give parents the necessary information. 1 to 2 weeks after you invite parents to complete the survey, send them a reminder. Later in May, be sure to follow up with parents you know received the survey. And should you have any questions about the process at all, please feel free to email Alejandro Allen or call him at either of the numbers that are listed here. We're always happy to answer questions to make sure that the process goes as smoothly as possible. Particularly given the unprecedented public health situation, we want to make sure that we're able to support you in whatever way is most helpful for your district. So thank you so much for your time and attention. Now we'll open it up for anyone that has questions. So remember to go to the Zoom toolbar on the bottom of your screen and click chat. You can type any questions you have in the response box that pops up. And we'll answer all questions verbally, and then we'll also post full answers to the Q&A to the survey portal along with the webinar recording. Again, just as a reminder, the webinar will be recorded and posted on the survey portal under the Survey Administration Resources tab. So, and just so you all know, we'll be including, since we have 4 separate webinars here, we'll be including information and questions that were asked in all 4 of the Q&A sessions on that survey portal page. So I'll go, actually gonna put this page up here so we have the contact information. So I'll leave it open for people to ask questions in the chat box. But if you realize later that you have questions, you should all have contact information for Alejandro Allen, but again, it's up on the screen right now. So feel free to call or email, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. So it looks like the first question was about who selected the parents, which is a great question. And it's, so our survey team at Gibson Consulting Group selects the parents who participate in the survey. They are randomly selected from a list of specific districts that are chosen to participate every year. So we have roughly 220 districts that participate in the survey every year. And within that, we select a random number. It's usually a proportion of students in every district over a certain number of students. So we talked a little bit more about the specific process for selecting parents in our webinar in March. But if you have any additional questions about that, we're happy to answer them, but it's essentially a random process. The next question is, if we don't have email addresses, what are ways to send out the survey? So that's a great question. We talked a little bit about that in the presentation here. But if you don't have email addresses, you can, it really just depends on what your district is set up for. So if you have phone numbers instead, but you know that they're all landlines, you can make phone calls and give parents the information that way. If you know that most of them are cell phone numbers, or you have a mix of landline and cell phone numbers, you can send them text messages. And on the website, on our online survey portal, we provided both a template for sending text messages and some information about possible resources for sending those text messages if your district doesn't already have something like that in place. Many districts do, but some don't. So if you have questions about how to kind of reach out to parents in different and creative ways, just let us know and we're happy to talk through it with you. Some other possible ways to reach out to parents are if your district, some smaller districts are still, they're printing out individual packets for students and having them dropped off, via school bus or whatever. So if you are still creating individual packets for students, you could include the information for the survey that way. You could also, if they're individualized, you can include their unique pins and the name of the student. If they're not, you can just include a flyer for the survey, and parents, they may go to take the survey online on their phones, and if they don't have the unique pin, they can call us and they can get the pin to be able to participate in the survey. So there are lots of options for how to get out the word about the survey. The primary way that we would like to do so is to give parents the unique pin that they need to participate in the survey. But as a backstop, if we let everybody, if you just provide more generic information about the survey, parents will go there and they'll call and try to get their PIN to be able to complete it or to be able to do it over the phone. There was a question about what about students on the list who have withdrawn? So if students have withdrawn from your campus or from your district, still do your best to send it to their last known email address or the last contact information they had on file. In all likelihood, even with the paper materials, we know that oftentimes parents that move to a different district, they still didn't want to, they maybe complete the survey at lower rates, but still do your best to share out that information with them because they aren't being included in whichever new district they move to. So your district is the only district that those parents have the opportunity to complete the survey in. So please make sure that you do your best to try and get the survey to them. There's a question about what about students who have been dismissed? So that's the same as students who have withdrawn. So they were, we base who we select for those, for the survey on the fall snapshot data. So if they were part of your program in the fall, they should be included in the survey, whether or not they're actually still in your district. So do your best to reach out to them. It may not be possible. It may be that you don't have contact information for them. It may be that there's, no way to get the survey to them. And that's, we understand that happens, but sort of do your best to do the due diligence to share out that survey with them since they won't have the opportunity to complete the survey elsewhere. So the next question is, when we post the information on social media, how do the right parents get the survey since it's posted to mass media? Yeah, so that's a great question. So posting information on social media is casting a wider net than we're doing with reaching out to parents with this survey, right? So when we post things on social media, we can say you can say something like, did you get an email about this? Or check to see if you're selected to receive the survey or things like that. And if it'll on all of the materials that we have on our online survey portal, it includes our phone number and ways to contact us. So, and the survey URL, which also includes that information. So if they go there and they don't have their unique PIN, they can always call us to request it. And districts also have them because when we shared out the student list of the list of students who were selected to receive the survey this year, it included their unique PIN. So you all have that information as well. So if a parent reaches out to you and says like, hey, I saw this thing about the survey, am I supposed to be participating in this or not? You can look at your list and say like, yeah, here's your unique PIN, right? And they can let you know, or you can let them know that they can participate, like the different ways in which they can participate. And the next question is, someone looking to receive their student list. So I can, if you just, it looks like this is Pat Radzik. So if you just say what school district you're in, we can follow up and resend you your student list, and make sure that you have all the information you need. And the next question, there's another question about where is the list of students found. So you all should have received an email I think it was last Wednesday, April 8th, that included information about the updated survey process. And it also included an individual link for the list of students in your district. So the list of students who were selected to receive the survey in your district. If you don't have that, or if you want us to resend it, or if it's gotten lost in the shuffle, that's okay. Just let us know and we're happy to resend it. So you can either send us an email, or I'm gonna take note of, I have Pat Radzik and M. Piper here that were requesting their lists again. And so I'm happy to follow up with that. The next question is, can we clarify the phone administration of the survey? Are district staff permitted to record the parents' responses online by phone, or do we refer the parent to Gibson for phone administration? This is a really great question. So you can do either of these are options. So if you have a parent on the phone and they want to complete the survey and they are, looking to do that right now, you are welcome to help them complete the survey. We know that in some cases that's a big ask, and so we don't want you all to feel like that is necessarily like what you have to be doing. But if you have space for that and are willing to do that, then you absolutely can. If you would prefer to essentially refer parents to us and we can survey them over the phone, or we can help them with the online survey, we're happy to do that as well. If you are going to help a parent complete the survey over the phone, or if for some reason you find yourself in person with a parent, I don't know that is that is the case in most places, but we've provided on the online survey portal, we've provided a document that's called Guidelines for Assisting Parents. And it's meant to essentially provide some reminders about how to help parents with the survey. So we want to make sure that we're not leading them to particular answers about the survey. And so if it really is just that they need help to complete it, because they would prefer to do it over the phone with you, or because they don't have internet at their house, or they are struggling with being able to complete the online survey for some reason, and they want to complete the survey over the phone with you, you are welcome to, essentially what you would do is go to, we include directions for this in the online survey portal, but you would go to the URL that we kind of plastered all over everything, the www.parentsurveytx.com. You go to the landing page, which asks parents to put in their unique PIN. You help them put in their unique PIN, so you can, if they need help looking it up, if they're talking with you on the phone, you can, and you can refer to your student list, you can enter that number in for them. And then you can read the questions out loud to them and ask them, read the full range of responses and ask them what their response would be, and essentially help them complete the survey. We've done this in the past with paper surveys, because there are some parents who come into their campus, their child's school front office, and they need help reading the survey, or they need help completing it, or they don't have good vision and so they want help completing it. So it's, in that way, it's no different than helping a parent complete the survey at the front desk of your school. And so we're just trying to give parents additional ways in which they can complete the survey. If you feel, if you don't have the time or inclination to do so, you are welcome to refer them to us, and we are happy to help them complete the survey over the phone. The next question is, may we attend another session that you're offering so we'll see answers to questions that have been asked? You're welcome to attend as many as you want. It's the same content from the presentation side, and the Q&As, we will be taking all of the responses from all 4 Q&As and putting them in a Word document and posting them to the online survey portal. So everybody should have access to all of the questions that have been asked, whether or not you attend all 4 sessions, because you all have a lot of things to do with your time, and I don't know that anybody feels the need to attend all 4. But far be it from me to stop you if you feel the need to do so. The next question is it okay to use mail? So you're welcome to use mail if that is your preference. In most districts, the reason we kind of steered away from doing anything in hard copy, in most of the districts that we've talked with, and just most of the students in Texas at this point, most district offices are, people aren't going into the offices, and we didn't want to require people to be essentially, having to print mailing labels or having to hand address any number of things to go out to parents, in their homes or things like that. So we know that people have access to fewer resources when they're working from home, and we didn't want to require that of anybody. So if you have access to that or you want to use mail, you're welcome to mail out flyers to parents, or you're welcome to, to print out anything that you think would be helpful. And we're happy to work with you on what might fit that description. But we just didn't feel comfortable doing that, requiring people to do that systematically. The next question is, are all PINs 6 digits? I don't think all of the PINs have the same number of digits, but I will actually wait for a response to that from my colleague Daniel, who is the one who created all of the PINs. Sorry, so he says that they should be 5 or 6 digits, and we needed more than 6 digits to be able to identify roughly 30,000 students. Oh, there was a question at the beginning that I missed. I apologize to that person, but it says that I noticed on my list of students, one campus did not have any. Is there a reason for that? That's a great question. So when we select students to participate in the survey, in some districts, we select all of the campuses in that district, but it's basically, I think it's 6 campuses or more, or 6 campuses or fewer, and they're all selected. And then beyond that, it's a proportion of campuses that are selected to participate in the survey. So it may be, if a campus wasn't included, it may be that they were, that you have more campuses, more than the kind of minimum number of campuses that we had to participate. And so we selected a proportion of campuses in your district. So the next note is, we advise that if a student is withdrawn from our district during the spring presentation, we advise that if a student is withdrawn from the district, that you can inform Gibson with that information, and we can, so if you aren't, that's a fair point, sorry. So if a student is withdrawn from your district and you don't have any way to contact them, you can let us know that they're withdrawn and you have absolutely no way to contact them, right? So in some cases, you can send things to a forwarding address, or you still have an email address on file, and so you can still, make an effort to share that out with the parent. If a student is withdrawn and you don't have any information for that student, you can tell us, and we will essentially we'll, at the end of all of this, kind of take that information into account, and we may, kind of depending on the situation, we may take that out of the response rate, essentially take that out of the denominator, the total number of students that are considered as part of your district's response rate. The next question is, what number can they reach you so they can, oh, yes, sorry. Sorry, got split between two people. Okay, or two lines. So yes, if you're, I'm assuming this is, if you're trying to refer parents to us, or if you, you know, if they need information about getting their PIN, or they want to take it over the phone or whatever, if you want to refer them to us, they can call us at either of the numbers that are up on the screen right now. So the 877-328-0884, which is a toll-free number, or they can call us at the 512-685-2692. That one does not require an extension, but it is a 512 number, so, you know, depending on their phone plan, etc., may incur charges. And I am making note, Pat Radzik, of your information so that we can follow up with you about your list of students. And yes, to your next question, the survey is in Spanish also. So all of the materials that we make available, all of the letter to parents, templates for emails, anything that is meant to be outward facing or meant to go to parents is in both English and Spanish. As I noted earlier, if you feel like there's a strong need for other language availability in your district or among your parents, let us know. So for example, we just got a request from a district that they have several parents who speak French, and wanted to know if it was possible to make the survey available in French. So we're in the process of doing that right now. So that means that the online survey will be available in English, Spanish, and French, but all of the support materials will just be in English and Spanish. We won't have the same support in those additional languages. So if parents wanted to call and complete the survey, they could do it in English and Spanish, but we wouldn't have those extra language options over the phone, since we don't have people on staff who regularly speak whatever languages you might request. So yes, the survey is available in English and Spanish, and with the possibility of other languages if that's helpful. So just let us know. The next question is, I understand you do the surveys each year. Will my district be selected each year? That is a great question, and it depends on what your district is. So for districts that have 50,000 or more students, they are included in the survey effort every year. For districts with fewer than 50,000 students, as of right now, they're included once every 6 years. That's part of the state sampling plan that is submitted to OSEP. So that's always possible that could change, but the plan right now is for that, for 1/6 of districts to be surveyed every year. Yeah, once every 6 years for under 50,000 students. Yep. And the next question is, have you created a blurb to post on social media regarding the survey? I don't think we have, but I will add that to our list of things, and we can post it to our online survey portal. So thank you for that suggestion. We have, pardon me, sorry, can't talk and write at the same time. So we do have some similar information, which is in the text message templates, which will be quite similar to what you could post on social media. But for social media right now, we have a flyer, but I could see, like, if you wanted to post it to your Facebook or something like that, that you could post the flyer, but you might want to say something around it too. So we can craft language to put around it for both English and Spanish, and we'll post that to the online survey portal. And we should hopefully have that within the next day or two. But all that is to say that we're looking for suggestions. If there are things that you think would be helpful for us to provide, or things that you find yourself creating and think, hey, maybe other districts might be trying to do the same thing, let us know. And we're happy to work with you on creating something, to create it ourselves and post it on the online survey portal. But every district is different in the way that they reach out to parents. And so it's always helpful for us to have that, sort of on the ground response or on the ground information about what you all need. So we're happy to create materials and do whatever is helpful for you all in sharing out that information. But we're always open to ideas. So thank you. So I think I will leave it for another minute or two to see if folks have any questions or any additional questions. But I will just give another reminder that we'll be posting the webinar online on the online survey portal later this week. And if you have any other questions that you think of later this week that you realize that you should have asked but you didn't, go ahead and email Alejandro or give him a call, and we are happy to help you with whatever it is that we can. Like I said, we're really just trying to do our best to make things as easy as possible for you all, given the new situation that we find ourselves in. So there may be things that we haven't thought of that we're happy to have suggestions or ideas for. So just let us know.